The HUE Lagoons in central Vietnam are a stunning network of interconnected waterways, fostering a diverse range of aquatic life and holding a naturalistic and cultural value. Traditional fishing practices illustrate the relationship between local customs and the surrounding nature. The system reflects the harmony among community life, ecological diversity, cultural heritage, and natural beauty. Beneath the surface, this landscape has undergone a decade of intervention. Since the initiation of a visionary project by FAO, supported by the Vietnamese and Italian governments, the lagoons have undergone significant transformation. Professor Massimo Sarti, the project leader, followed the work for nearly a decade.
Decades ago, this large lagoon in central Vietnam was facing severe social, ecological, and economic pressures.
The overall objective of the FAO project was to restore the balance between fishery practices and the lagoon ecology.
Illegal shrimp farming, coastal deforestation, unregulated fishing, and limited governance capacity were undermining food security, nutrition, and the livelihoods of lagoon-dependent communities.
One of the main challenges was to restore the water circulation. Without it, the lagoon had lost its ability to regenerate.
Responding to these challenges required an integrated approach addressing ecosystem health, resource management, and long-term sustainability.
Community mobilization and the dialogue with the public authorities contributed to steer the lagoon onto a sustainable course.
Over nearly a decade, the project supported responsible fishing practices, ecosystem conservation, sustainable livelihood development, and the safeguarding of local cultural values.
The work was not about stopping human activities, but making them compatible with the dynamic of the lagoon.
These actions strengthened ecological resilience while enhancing the adaptive capacity of communities dependent on the lagoon's resources.
What we see today is the result of long-term choices. The lagoon remembers everything.
By aligning human activities with natural processes, the project has helped set a sustainable pathway for the future of this extensive lagoon system.
Restoration reshaped not only ecosystems, but livelihoods. Aquaculture emerged as a vital source of food and income, but came with an environmental downside. It depleted most of the flooded forests, reducing vital habitats for aquatic life. Mangrove reforestation facilitated wetland forest regrowth along the coastline, but shrimp ponds still lined the lagoon shores, underscoring their importance for the local economy and fishermen's livelihoods. These geometric arrangements create visually captivating landscapes, with pond embankments engineered with sticks and nets to retain fish during floods, and waterways for boat access. Beyond cultivation, the lagoon still sustains traditional fishing. Fish farming is practiced in large bamboo cages strategically placed along the lagoon shores and rivers. Crab farming is also a thriving tradition, reflecting aspects of lagoon life and rich living heritage. Fishing activities play a multifaceted role beyond mere sustenance. They are instrumental in poverty reduction and bolstering community empowerment. In this fragile ecosystem, ancient fishing customs remain preserved, but rising populations and resource depletion have prompted management interventions. The project assisted fishers to organize into professional associations, regulating their activities and resolving conflicts. Stake traps in the lagoon leverage natural currents to attract fish. The project, redesigning the gear array, helped fishers improve their catch and water circulation. Lagoon fishing is a family-centered activity that occurs at night, engaging both men and women. The catch is collected from traps and delivered to local street markets each morning, linking the lagoon's ecological rhythms to surrounding communities. Where water yields space, land becomes cultivation. Amid the lagoon water landscape, rice paddies has been traditionally planted by hand for generations, coexisting with vibrant vegetable gardens near every home. Interspersed among the paddies and pathways are small water bodies and lakes, where lotus flowers bloom gloriously during the summertime, adding a touch of elegance to the visual tapestry of the region. Water buffaloes grazing in the wetlands, alongside the time-honored tradition of worshipping household shrines, holding ceremonies in accordance with each lunar month, exemplify the deeply entrenched customs that celebrate the harmonious relationship between humans and the natural world. And on the sandy margins, land takes on another meaning. Extensive necropolises, known locally as cities of ghosts, occupy the sandy margins between lagoon and sea. Monumental tombs rise from elevated dunes, shaped by wind and sediment, terrain largely unsuitable for agriculture. Chosen for their higher ground and distance from seasonal flooding, these burial sites have expanded across fragile coastal land. Alongside ponds, fields, and fishing settlements, they mark a visible layer of territorial occupation. Yet beneath these recent layers of occupation lies a far older coastline. Remnants of ancient shorelines remain etched in the landscape, white sand ridges tracing the former contours of the HUE River Delta. Along the coast, high dune systems form a natural barrier between inland lagoons and the sea. Beneath their surface lie groundwater reserves that recharge during the rainy season, creating temporary lakes and seasonal wetlands. These shifting water bodies support aquatic life, livestock, and small-scale human use, revealing a long-standing adaptation to fragile terrain. In recent years, mangrove reforestation efforts have reinforced this coastal margin. Experimental plantations, initiated by the project, have accelerated wetland forest recovery and stabilized vulnerable stretches of shoreline. The result is a layered coastal system, where geomorphology and restoration intersect, strengthening ecological resilience along the lagoon's edge. Beyond the mangroves, the open sea remains decisive. Along the seaward edge, sandy barrier beaches separate the lagoon from the East Sea. These narrow landforms are not scenic margins but structural defenses that allow the lagoon system to exist. Seasonal storms repeatedly strike this coastline, accelerating erosion and reshaping the shore. Sections have been reinforced with hard engineering works, yet their effectiveness is widely questioned. By interrupting sediment transport, such structures can shift erosion elsewhere rather than resolve it. As beaches narrow or retreat, communities face growing exposure to storm surges and the gradual loss of land. At low tide, bamboo boats line the water's edge before heading offshore at night. Unlike inland fishers operating within sheltered waters, marine crews navigate open currents and volatile sea conditions. Here, the lagoon's stability depends less on rigid defenses than on a shifting balance between sediment, storm, and human adaptation, a contested frontier between inland waters and the open sea.
The FAO project introduced structural adjustments to water circulation and lagoon management. But no intervention concludes the story of this landscape. The lagoon remains an open system, where ecological forces and human activity continue to interact, adjust, and renegotiate their balance over time.